everybody. Welcome to season 3, people. We're in season 3 here at the Booker Show, and I'm excited about what's about to happen for us this year. It is my absolute pleasure to have you be a part of this conversation. As is often the case, I have a great show for you tonight. My dear sister Nicole Jones is here, and what a story. What a story she has. What a life. What an experience that she's had to live through. Allegedly shot 17 times. 17 times. And I have to say allegedly because it's still in process. The whole thing is still going through the legal system. But allegedly shot 17 times by her ex-boyfriend's girlfriend in a jealous rage. She's here tonight to discuss a lot of what happened with that and also how she might propose to move past it. Because when we deal with trauma and difficulties and things hurt us and break us, and in her case, literally wound us in the variable parts of our bodies, how is it that we can muster and manage a life beyond what people have done to us? As I'm hoping to have that conversation, listen to her heart, listen to her mind and her journey and her story, and end up on the other side with a more emancipated Nicole. She deserves that. After all that she's been through, she deserves to laugh at least half as long as she's had to cry. I'm going to do some Ask Dr. Sean. We're going to have a good time, but let's start with some headlines. So, YouTube will ban now any videos that claim commonly used vaccines approved by the health authorities are ineffective or dangerous. Shout out to YouTube because YouTube didn't act sooner because it said it didn't act sooner because it was focusing on misinformation about the coronavirus vaccines. But when YouTube noticed that incorrect claims about other vaccines were being profited around the world and contributing to fears about the coronavirus vaccine, it expanded the ban, and it already put on COVID anti-vax videos of every sort. I don't normally say good things about social media companies because I'm not a big fan of social media, although, I use them. But shout out to YouTube on this. And shout out to YouTube on this because let me ask you a question. Do you know why we don't have polio outbreaks? Do you know why we don't have outbreaks of the the mumps and the measles? You know why we don't have that? It's called vaccines. Vaccines is why we don't have it. We can't go back to the days when children can't walk, and we can't go back to the days when people sort of randomly end up in wheelchairs. We can't go back to those days, and the only reason we're not there is because people get vaccinated for those diseases. The diseases didn't go anywhere, people. The mumps, the measles, the chickenpox, smallpox, polio, they're all still there. They're all still active in our ecosystem. The only reason we don't deal with those things and we're not devastated by them is because we have vaccinated ourselves against them. It has nothing to do with herd immunity. We don't have herd immunity against chickenpox. We don't have no, that's not how it works. Enough people are vaccinated, and so people don't get the disease. That's why children have to get vaccinated before they can go to school. See, here's the point I'm making. I'm not really honoring YouTube because YouTube's got a lot of problems. I'm honoring the fact that it's about time that somebody in this country stand up and say it's not cool to lie. How about that? That it's not cool to tell a bold-faced lie, to look at people and tell them lies about their health and about who they are. It's not cool to tell people things that aren't true because it's costing people's lives. 700,000 people have died from this entire pandemic situation. We live in a world, listen to me, we live in a world where you can no longer believe what you see on the screen. It's not true just because it's on the screen. And at some point we have to have a sense of critical thinking that allows us to understand that just because I see it on the screen doesn't make it valid. Come on, all you Afro-pessimists. I need you to be Afro-skeptics because pessimism isn't African. Skepticism is. And what skepticism says is this. It says that I don't come out with answers before I have questions. Skepticism says that I understand that truth is an ongoing conversation. And when I get better information, I'll have better attempts at truth. Skepticism says that what I believe is not more valid than what I know. You understand what I'm saying? Skepticism says that a belief is fine to have a belief and an opinion, but you don't base your life on an opinion. You base your life on a certain set of facts. And some of those facts may be rooted in faith. Some of those facts may be rooted in medicine. But skepticism says I understand at the end of the day what I'm trying to live and what I'm trying to do with myself is not qualified or determined by some random opinion of somebody else. So shout out to YouTube. Shout out to YouTube. Here's the last thing skepticism says. It says that being qualified is important. Being qualified to talk about something is significant. And that's what I want us to return to one day, when we're only getting medical information from people who have actually been to medical school. Let's do another headline. Let's talk about Alabama. So the governor of Alabama, Kay Ivey, is defending her proposal to use the state's allotment of coronavirus relief funds to build new state prisons. After receiving criticism from Democrats, she insists on doing it. And Governor Ivey, a Republican, convened a session of the Alabama legislature to discuss how the use of COVID funds would be crucial to reverse years of inattention and to improve the condition for inmates, as she put it. When I found this story, I love this story, and I'll tell you why. Not because I agree with anything that she's saying, because Governor Ivey has lost her damn mind, no uncertain term. But did you know that in the state of Alabama, black people in Alabama make up 30% of the population, but 54% of the people who are in prison? And the governor of Alabama wants to build more prisons. Who do you think is going to be in those prisons? Black folks make up 30% of the state and 54% of the prisons? I'm just asking you to think about it. You should know that people don't build prisons in order for them to stay empty. Nobody builds prisons and wants them to be empty. If she wants to use this money to build new prisons, you better believe she has her eyes set on who the new residents might be. 30% of the state happens to be black. 54% of the inmates are also black. You know, how about this? Governor Ivey, instead of building new prisons, how about you build some schools? How about that? How about that? So only 30%, only 16% of Alabamans have a college education. Only 30% of people in Alabama have a high school diploma. You heard what I said. Only 30% of the people in the state of Alabama have a high school diploma. And only 16% of the state of Alabama has a college degree. How about instead of building prisons, you build some schools? Because clearly your state is not particularly educated. 30% of the state has a high school diploma? 30% of the people in your state graduate from high school. If Alabama is ranked 46 in the United States in education, so if 1 is the best and 50th is the worst, Alabama is 46th in education. But the governor of the state of Alabama wants to build new prisons and not new schools. And it matters, people. It matters. It matters. So only 16% of the state has a college degree. In California, 83% of the residents of California have a college degree, and 33% have a high school diploma. It matters. That's why in California, we don't believe people writ large. We don't believe people who create stupid stuff about diseases and vaccines, because we've been to college and we graduated from high school. Are you following what I'm saying? And that's why in Alabama, where you only have, let me look at it again, 30% of the people graduate from high school, 16% graduate from college, where they do believe every conspiracy theory you can possibly think of. No wonder in Alabama, Donald Trump can get up and say he won the election and people believe him, because they didn't even graduate from high school, let alone college. There's something to be said about having an educated group of people, having your citizenry be educated. When your citizenry is not educated, it affects the tone and the tenor of what it is you're trying to do in the state. There's a reason why places like New York and places like California and places like Illinois, where you have higher levels of education, where people don't believe these conspiracies. They're not willing to bow down to them. There's a reason for that. Alabama wants to have first-class prisons. How about instead of first-class prisons, you decide to have world-class schools? I think you owe it to your people, Governor Ivey. But let's see what happens. Let's do another headline. So I got some good news for you. I finally decided, before I bring Nicole out, I finally decided that we should do a little good news in these headlines. Here's some good news. Here's some good news, Bruno. Here's the good news. The good news is, check this out, COVID deaths are going down. After a long and arduous summer, COVID deaths are going down. Here's the part where you should be clapping wherever you are. COVID deaths are going down. The CDC is reporting that the decrease over the last few weeks has everything to do with the fact that people are getting vaccinated and people are actually paying attention to what it is going on with their health and their lives. 700,000 deaths in this country. 700,000 deaths. Now listen to this, 200,000 within the last 3 months since the summer began. Since the summer began, 200,000 people died that didn't have to die if they had just gotten vaccinated. But I'm not here to, do that. I'm here to say, congratulations, America. I'm glad that things are going in the right direction. It's about time we decided, to really get this thing right. You understand what I'm saying? And part of the reason why we're getting it right is that people are pushing back on the crazy. People have decided they're not just going to let people be crazy and be willy-nilly with their craziness and get away with it. People have decided that they're going to force people to have to defend their stupidity. And I like that. Because your position is only legitimate if you can justify it. If you can't justify your position, it's not legitimate and you shouldn't be out here talking about it. So yes, people have been challenging people. And you know what else? You know what else has worked, by the way? Bruno, you know what else has worked, by the way? Mandates. People have made people get vaccinated. Businesses, the city of New York, the state of New York, California, city of San Francisco, people are making people do the right thing. And don't talk to me about the fact you don't like mandate. You live with a mandate every day of your life. Car insurance is a mandate. Wearing your seatbelt is a mandate. You understand what I'm saying? You've been dealing with mandates your whole life. And you didn't feel some type of way about that. Because here's what we discovered. We've discovered that mandates save lives. Wearing your seatbelt saves your life. Huh? Car insurance will save your emotional life and maybe even your marriage. When somebody crashes into your car and they have car insurance. You know what I'm saying? Mandates work. It's not about shaming people. It's about challenging assumptions. And we all need our assumptions challenged. You know what I'm saying? We all need our assumptions challenged. We all need people who push us. So here's to you, America. Great job, beloved. I'm so glad that the numbers are going down. So let's keep being rational. Let's see what happens. So here's my last headline. I couldn't wait for this one. Here's the best thing I saw all day. Relatives of Behan Mutulu. I'm sure I mispronounced his name, but anyway. They reportedly became concerned about him after he went missing and didn't return home after a night of drinking with his friends in Turkey. Check this out. His wife was unable to reach him, couldn't find him because he was missing. He had gone drinking with his friends, and his friends wandered in the forest looking for him because that's where they thought he went, and a search party was sent to find him. Turns out, he inadvertently joins the search party that's looking for him and doesn't know that they're looking for him. They're in the woods looking for him. He's drunk and trying to get sober in the woods. He joins the search party that's looking for him and doesn't know that they're looking for him until they start calling out his name. And then he realizes, oh, they're looking for me. Best story I saw all day. Here's some wisdoms real quick. Number one, Bruno, these are for you. Don't get so drunk and then go wandering off in the wilderness or the forest. Don't get drunk in the forest, people. That's how the serial killers get you. Wisdom number two. Don't ever get so drunk that you end up looking for yourself. Don't ever get so inebriated that you end up joining the search party that's looking for you. But here's the last thing I want to give you before I take this break. This man will always know for the rest of his life that when he was lost, people tried to find him. That when he was missing, people noticed that he was gone, and people tried to find him. He will know for the rest of his life that he was so valued and so loved that his absence is noticeable, and people sought him in ways unbelievable. And that's what you need to know. That there are people who would look for you too, because that's how loved you are. That's how cared for you are. So, put a smile on your face, people. Put a smile on your face. Don't be getting drunk and going into the forest. Don't be getting drunk and joining search parties looking for you. But if you do get lost, I promise you somebody will help you get found. I'm going to take a break. We'll talk to Nicole right after this. Welcome back, everybody. So Nicole Jones is here, and I'm excited to talk to her. What would you do if you got shot 17 times? What would you do if you allegedly anyway got shot 17 times by your ex-boyfriend's girlfriend. That's what Nicole had to deal with. She's here tonight. Nicole, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure to have you. I saw you smiling a little bit earlier, and considering your story, I'm excited to see you smile. I want to hear about everything. But before I do it, I want to ask you just some questions about you that have nothing to do with what we're here to talk about. Nicole, what's the best thing about you? Because I'm interested in that.
I would say my personality,
How so? Do tell.
like, like I, like people just say they gravitate towards me. Like,
Mm.
I'm funny. I'm pretty open spirit. I'll say.
Love it, love it. I like to do a gratitude list. I believe it's important to root people back to the things that make them grateful, because whatever makes you grateful will ultimately make you glad. So, what's your gratitude list? What in this moment, in this season, as you sit here right now, what are you grateful for?
I'm just grateful to be alive. Really, just I'm able to get up and get out and just take in the air. I'm just thankful for that.
No, I feel you on that. I feel you. So let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. Um, how did you and your boyfriend meet? How did y'all meet?
He DM'd me on Facebook.
See, hold on, put the camera on me. I keep telling y'all. I keep telling you people, watch the social media. We're gonna come back to this. Nicole, he DM'd you on Facebook. So without being I was gonna say without being too nosy, but I'm about to be nosy. What did he say that got your attention?
He sent me a wave on Facebook, and I said hello back, and we instantly just started talking. I don't know how the conversation went. Like, it was just, we started talking about each other, where we were from and stuff like that, and we just didn't stop talking.
Mm. So there was the conversation was good, the communication went well, and so
Oh yeah, it went very well.
yeah, and so from that you felt like you were getting a sense of his interest in you. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so at what point did y'all meet? Like, at what point did you kind of connect in person?
So yeah, he came into my DM January of 2019, and we met March of that year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mm.
Because that's actually pretty healthy. That's actually because you waited
Yeah.
a while before you allowed him to sort of manifest.
Yeah, the crazy part is we talked, but I really wasn't too thirsty to meet with him right away. I just got out of a relationship maybe 2, 3 months ago prior. So I really wasn't, I was working, had other things going on. I really wasn't giving him that much I wasn't giving him that much of my attention until I actually met him.
And when you met him, you thought he was what?
We just like instantly clicked. Like I say, since the day we had met, we were like inseparable. Like we just clicked. Like we had a lot of the same interests. I love the way he listened to me, and he'll give me feedback on what I said. So we instantly had clicked, and I thought he was the one. I really did.
Yeah, yeah. And if I got it correct, I know that you were committed in the relationship. You were committed to him. Was he committed to you?
Yeah, we made it official May of 2019. We said it was just me and him. We were together. We didn't say we were gonna date other people. That was, it was just me and him.
And did that understanding last?
Nope, because by the fall of that year, things started to change, and I started to peep certain things and find things in his phone, and so by the end of that year, I basically found out he had been unfaithful.
Okay. Now, Nicole, you first of all, you're doing a great job. All right, just so you know, you're doing a great job. But for everybody out there who have either been in your situation or who is about to be in your situation, I need you to help them real quick by answering this question. What were the red flags?
So we kind of had like a routine of how we did things, and especially like when he started work, and that's where he met the girl who shot me. He would call me like on his lunch and things like that. But the routine kind of got shifted. You know, I started getting called on little 10-minute breaks and things like that. And he just moved different. He would used to talk on the phone when he was in my presence. Now he had to start taking phone calls outside and, you know, arguments about different things I saw, you know. Those were like the red flags that I seen in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. And so you see the red flags and you have a sense that something is wrong. Do you ever I'm assuming at some point because he's your ex-boyfriend, I'm assuming at some point you confronted this situation. Tell me about that.
Well, I confronted him, especially about the girl that shot me. You know, I started to peep certain things. I did go through his phone. I saw where she was sending him some inappropriate videos. You know, he did music, so she sent him like an inappropriate video of her dancing with hardly anything on. And I asked him then, I'm like, what do you guys need to talk about so much out of work? Why is she sending you? I don't send my coworkers no, you nothing like that of me, you know. And he was just like, oh, she's just a work friend. You doing too much and you looking too much into it, you know. Don't worry about her. You're my girl. Don't worry about her. She's just somebody I work with.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go there now, right? Let's go there. Take a deep breath for me, because I want you to tell it. I don't want you to relive it though. Tell me about the night you got shot.
Yeah, so it was actually Halloween 2020. Me and my friend went out to a party and we stayed out there for about maybe 2 hours and then we came back home. I dropped her off. She lived right a corner from me. And as I'm sitting on the couch, I didn't go to bed right away. I sat on the couch to watch a movie. And I got a phone call from this number. And it was the girl. And she got on the phone. She was saying that he was there with her. And she actually like FaceTimed me so I can see it. And he was asleep in the bed. And she showed that to me. And I went through his phone. I saw y'all messages. Are y'all back seeing each other? This and that. She kept asking me questions. And I'm like, you need to ask him. I'm not gonna, you know, go back and forth with you about it. And she started to hit him and try to wake him up. And, you know, it just became like an argument between them on the phone. So I hung up. She called me back again. You know, we go back and forth. And, you know, I hang up on the phone from her again. Maybe an hour go by. I'm getting ready for bed at this point. I hear he had this van with a very loud, distinct motor, and I hear the sound pull up on my block. So I instantly look out my bedroom window and I see it's his van. So I see someone come out the van, and you know my initial reaction was, because it's not out of the ordinary. He does, you know, when he get caught up, he likes to come and plead his case. And I'm just like, I'm not trying to hear it. I don't want to argue in the hallway in front of my neighbors. So I instantly just ran outside to prevent him from coming to my door. And while I'm walking outside, I walk up and she turns around. She has this black hood on her head. So I instantly know it's not him. I asked, what was she doing here? She pulled the gun out. She started just shooting me. And like the first couple bullets hit me in my stomach, and I instantly just think like, okay, I'm about to die. I mean, the pain, I can't even describe the feeling.
Wow.
And she shoots me, and she's constantly shooting me. I'm on the ground at this point. She comes over me and she's shooting me close range. And I hear my neighbor yell out her window, stop, I've called the police. And I'm yelling for her. And by this time, I just play dead because I'm just like, she's screaming out, die, die, die. So I just play dead. And by this time, my neighbor comes down and she, you know, comforts me. And maybe 2 minutes later, the ambulance come and I'm getting rushed off to the hospital.
Wow. I mean, listen, that is unbelievable. So she came over, I'm assuming by herself, right? She came over by herself. Your boyfriend wasn't there, was he?
No.
Okay.
Not to my knowledge. They say that two people was there that night because they can see from the video that two people exited out the van, but I only saw her.
Right.
So, you know.
How many times she shot you? How many times?
17.
17 times. When you were on the phone with her, did you sense any danger at all?
No, and she even threatened me over the phone. She said, "I'll come shoot up your windows." And she always made threats to me. We've had an altercation before, so she always made threats. And I'm just thinking it's fight talk. But no, I never thought in a million years she was capable of doing something like that. I just
Wow.
didn't think that was gonna happen.
Nicole, you never know, right? Right?
You never know.
You
Yeah,
never know.
take people seriously. That really opened my eyes. Some crazy people in this world, and take threats seriously.
Yeah. Listening to you makes me wonder, what do you think set her off in that conversation?
I honestly think because around that time, me and him wasn't together like that. So I believe, he really started spending more time with her. And even like over the phone, she was arguing with him and saying, "You playing me? I'm doing all this stuff for you, and you playing me. You told me you're not messing with her no more, this and that." And I just think I think she thought I was out of the picture. And
Mm.
I just think she just wanted me gone for real this time. Like, she wanted me out of the picture.
Well, what's interesting, and I don't respond to this because I just want to just get it out of my mind. What's interesting is that in that scenario, someone would want to shoot you, but not shoot the person who's actually disrespecting and hurting them.
Yeah, that was crazy to me too. And like he told me, because I wanted to know what happened that night because I wasn't even that argumentative with her like we usually have been. I just was not. I was over it at that point. And him and her was really arguing. He told me, she was going crazy on him, and he just rolled over and went back off to sleep. And she went downstairs in her house and she was screaming, throwing stuff, and he just rolled over and went back off to sleep. And the next thing he said, he knew he was getting called from the police station the next morning saying she was locked up. She called him from the police station.
Talk to me about your injuries real quick.
So I still have a full bullet back in my spine. Doctors say it's more of a risk for them to go back and get it, but that bullet it made me to get a spinal cord injury, so that's hindering me from walking normally right now. I walk
Nicole,
with a
Nicole,
walker.
Nicole, Nicole, hold on one second. I got to take this break. When we come back, we're going to pick it up there, okay? We're going to pick it up
Okay.
because I want people to know the devastation of this because I want them to understand why you're here. Because you've been through a lot and you deserve all of our respect. Listen, everybody, we're going to take this quick break. I got more questions for Nicole. I'm going to pour into a spirit, and in so doing, I'm going to pour into yours too. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We're talking to Nicole Jones, and what a story it is. Shot 17 times by her ex-boyfriend's girlfriend. Nicole, before we took our break, I asked you about the injuries. I want you to go through that again because I want people really to understand the devastating consequences that you've had to live with. So you have one bullet in your back?
Yeah, my spine. Yeah, one is in my spine, and that's hindering me from. I didn't get up walking normally after being shot. I had to basically learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to sit up and walk again. I'm walking with a walker now. Eventually, they're saying that I could use a cane, and hopefully nothing after that. One bladder. I'm sorry. One bullet pierced my bladder really bad, so I'm not peeing normally at the moment. I have a catheter, so I have to have my full bladder reconstructed, and that's like a surgery that I'll be having early next year. So, and I still have like a lot of wounds and things like that.
Wow. I mean, it really is. I have a mild smile on my face because it really is a miracle that you're sitting here. Looking at you, you're a beautiful woman. You're well spoken. There's a presence to you. I would not have thought, just by looking at you and listening to you, that you would have to live with the pain and the repercussions of this the way that you have. A reconstructed bladder, a bullet in your spine, and then the psychological pieces, they're still there. What's your mental health like?
It's a journey. I have my days, but I have to stay encouraged. I have to just literally pull myself out of bed every day. It's a fight every day. It's up and down. I have more good days now than bad. In the beginning, it was really bad, but now, I'm getting better.
Yeah. You know, when you were telling your story, whenever I listen to someone's story, what I listen for are the hints of grace. I listen for how did mercy show up? How did love show up? And when you were telling your story about the night you were shot, a neighbor was the manifestation of grace.
Yes.
If I got the story right, correct me if I'm wrong, the neighbor was the one who facilitated comforting you and also calling the police. Did I get that right?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
How does it feel to know that on your worst night that you could have died and somebody was trying to kill you, that somebody else showed up to make sure that you lived?
It was nothing but God. It was nothing but God, just how that whole situation just went about. She was evil, and that was nothing but the devil. But God is really just turning just a messed up situation. He's turning around for my good. Like, you know, in my neighborhood, you hear gunshots, you don't look out your window, you lay down, you don't go out to try to see what happened. But I thank God gave her the courage to call and come down and comfort me. So that was nothing but God.
Yeah, that's exactly why I wanted to highlight it, because that's exactly what it was. What happened to the shooter?
She's in jail right now. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm assuming has going to trial and all of going through.
Yeah, we're still in the process of everything. We're really in the thick of things. COVID has really slowed a lot of stuff down. So she actually has another bond hearing coming up this Friday. So she's just really, we just in the beginning of it.
Yeah, I'm assuming that when after the shooting was over, that the shooter thought you were gone, and in no way thought you were alive to be able to identify who had shot you.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that the shooter is probably flabbergasted that what they meant for evil,
right,
it didn't work. It's right. Amazing. Listen, because I'm gonna have to let you go soon. There's some things that I want to say to you, because your story is amazing. You have such an amazing story, and I really want you to be encouraged. I really want you to face the coming days with joy, because you deserve it. I said before I introduced you, Nicole, that I wanted you to laugh at least half as long as you've had to cry, because I think you deserve it. You didn't do anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? And here you are, the victim. And that's what happens, right? You're minding your own business. You're doing the best that you can. You are in the process of respecting yourself and not allowing someone to disrespect you. And someone who was insecure and couldn't handle that sought to kill you and hurt you and take your life. But I got news for the enemy, and I got news for evil, and I got news for your shooter, and I got news for everybody that tries to take you, that you are the one who can get shot 17 times and keep on ticking. That's who you are. You are the one who, when people come against you, they better bring 3 of whatever they're trying to use, because you're strong enough to be able to handle it and pop back on your feet. Nobody, I don't know anybody else who can get shot 17 times and look as good as you do. I don't know nobody else who can pull that off but you. You hear what I'm saying to you? I want you to understand that life and love and God and faith and destiny and greatness, it ain't finished with you. You only survive when there's more for you to do. And I know the surgeries are a lot. I know the bullet in your back is a lot. I know the reconstructed bladder is a lot. But I serve notice on everything trying to convince you that your best days are behind you. No. You got some joy. You got some greatness that's waiting for you, because that's why you survived. And let me say this to you as well. I'm so glad you did. I'm glad you survived, because when you survive, it makes me want to survive. Because you survived, somebody watching right now knows that whatever they're going through, they can handle it too. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm supposed to ask you, why did you come on the show today? How can I help you? But I ain't asking. I'm not asking nothing. I know how I can help you. I just want to encourage you to keep on living. You hear me? Keep on living. Yes. You put one with you grab that walker and you put one foot in front of the other and you keep on living. I want you to live until your life has come into its height and into its fulfillment, because that's what you deserve. You deserve that. You didn't do anything wrong. You deserve to have the kind of life that I believe you're about to have. And I can only pray and I can only believe that the God that kept you here is the God that'll take you higher. Do you receive what I'm
Yes.
saying, sister?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's good. That's good. I believe in you. I'm excited about your future, and I know that healing is on the way for you. I know that deliverance is on the way for you. You're gonna be all right. You hear me? You're gonna be all right.
Thank you.
You're gonna be all right. No, it's my pleasure. Listen, everybody, I gotta let Nicole go. Thank you, Nicole, for being here. When I come back, we're gonna do some Ask Dr. Sean. But I wasn't just talking to her. I was talking to you too. You hear what I'm saying? You survived some things. And you didn't survive it on accident. There are no accidents in the universe of God. You survived it because there's more for you to do. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. So it's time for a little Ask Dr. Sean where I answer your questions. Let's take a look at a video sent in by Nicole.
Hey, Dr. Sean, my name is Nicole and I need some advice. I recently borrowed some money to a friend and later found out that she used the money to bail her boyfriend out. It's been about 3 months now, and she's saying that she's waiting on her boyfriend to pay her back. Is this worth ending the friendship over?
Well, first I'm going to assume you meant you loaned some money to a friend. Your friend borrowed the money from you. So let's begin like this. Because you guys see me, I say this all the time, and y'all don't listen to your uncle. Don't lend people money if you need it. If you need your money back, don't give it to them. Because nine and a half times out of 10, people are not going to pay you back, and they're not going to pay you back on the time schedule that they promised to do it. This is a principle. It's a principle that I know to be true because I've dealt with this question a billion times. Now, you're not wrong to want your money back or to need your money back. You're not wrong for that at all. You know what I'm saying? It's right. It's right. You have all the rights that come along with being the lender. You're not the borrower, you're the lender. But you also have to know who you're lending to. You know what I'm saying? And so often people lend based upon need and not character. We need to lend to people not just upon what they need, but also based upon who they are. And what you know a person to be will show up in the moments that they show up to. So she's in need. Her apparently boyfriend needed some money to be bailed out, and she borrowed the money from you to make it happen. Okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And now your friend is waiting for the boyfriend to pay her back. She's another one that needs to consider character. You're borrowing money to help someone get out of jail. I'm just saying, there's an echo going on in here. You're not wrong to end a friendship over money. You're wrong to choose people to be your friends who will be capable of not being direct and not being honest and straightforward about whatever difficulties they would have for borrowing and paying you back altogether. I would never end a friendship over money personally. It's not something that I'm willing to do because I don't lend people money. I give you the money. If I give you money, here it is. Now, I may not tell you that I've given it to you. I guess I told you now if you're watching the show. But if I give you money, it's yours. If you give it back, great. If you don't, whatever. I would never personally end a friendship over money, but you have the right to end your friendship over whatever you want to end it over. And if this means that much to you, then maybe you should end the friendship. But let me warn you not to end a friendship so quickly that you don't learn the lessons contained therein. Because the lessons that you should be learning from this is not whether or not she should be your friend, but whether or not you should empower your friends with things that you need yourself. You hear what I said? Whether or not you should be giving people things that you need yourself. Next time, have a boundary, have a border where you understand that you don't give people money, even if they need it. I know it's hard, but it might help you keep a friend. And that's the point of it, right? Here's another question DM to me. My dad was absent in my life. I am now an adult, and he was recently diagnosed with a terminal illness, and he has asked for my help. I am in a position where I can help him, but I am resentful of how he treated me and my mother. Would it be wrong of me to tell him no and to remind him that he was never there for me and my mother when I was a child? This is an interesting question. Let me answer succinctly and directly. Would it be wrong for you? Yes, it would be wrong for you. It would be wrong for you to use what he's done against him at a time when he's vulnerable. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be his caretaker. Scroll that question back down a little bit, because I'm not saying that you don't that you have to be his caretaker, but I'm saying that this ain't the time for the kind of conversation that you want to have. I'm saying that this is not that time. I'm saying that this ain't the time to punish him for what he's done wrong. I'm saying that forgiveness may have to enter into this equation, and you may have to understand that what he did to you and to your mother is something that cannot be undone. What you need to focus on is what you are about to do to him, because two wrongs don't make a right. And just because he hurt and violated you and your mom does not give you the moral authority or the moral significance to do it to him. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth and a life for a life. The problem with that is that everybody ends up dead or blind or toothless. And you have to ask yourself what kind of person you are, what kind of person you want to be. Would it be wrong for you to tell him no and remind him that he was never there for you and your mom? I think it would be wrong for you to reject an opportunity to help your father. Not wrong for you to tell him what he did to you. You ought to tell him what he did to you. And you ought to have that conversation with him. But have it without it becoming the impetus for you to lose your own moral standing. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you're absolutely incapable of helping him, you're absolutely capable of getting past this, and you would only bring him into your life or into your house, and you would only treat him like crap, then maybe you shouldn't do it. If you're not capable of ever getting over this and having him a part of your space and in your life, it's only going to make you have vitriol and resentment towards him, then maybe for his own health and his own security that he not be around you. But I'm asking you to be better than that. I'm asking you to find the courage and do the hard work of not doing unto him as he regrettably did to you. I'm asking you to practice mercy. I'm asking you to practice a sense of compassion for an ailing man who's done wrong. I'm asking you to have a series of conversations with him about your pain. And let's just be honest, I don't mean to sound, crass here, but you do have a captive audience. It's not like he can go running off. Yeah. I think whenever we have to help people who have hurt us, it's never easy to do. Whenever we've had to sort of be there for people who have broken us in strange places, it's never easy to do. It's hard, but it might be right. And sometimes doing the right thing is worth the trouble that it takes and the sacrifice that it costs us to do them. Because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, it's not about him. His life, his journey is coming to an end. Yours is not. And make sure you don't reap what you sow. He's reaping what he has sown. He treated you bad and now he needs you. Don't you create the kind of karma you don't want to live down later on. Be as kind as you can. Be as human as you can. Be as loving as you can. Be the best version of you as you can. And everything else is everything else. Let's take a break. Come back, everybody. Let's do some more Ask Dr. Sean. Got a video sent in by Ken. Let's take a look at it.
Hey, Dr. Sean. My name is Ken, and I need some advice. I recently took a break from school to focus on personal issues. However, I am having a hard time getting motivated to go back and want to know if there any advice that you have.
Yes, I got a lot of advice for you. Here's the first section of my advice, 2-3. Take your butt back to school, or you end up like the people in Alabama. Although you might be in Alabama. Of which, by the way, 16% of them have college degrees, and only 30% of them have high school diplomas. Your generation is more, if you do not have a college degree, your generation is more likely to be homeless, more likely to have less income, more likely to have mental health and financial stress than my generation or the one before me. For your generation, a college degree should not be underestimated. Its value should not be underestimated. I was watching Bill Maher the other day, and Bill Maher's kind of losing his marbles a little bit because he said something thoroughly crazy. Bill Maher said the Build Back Better plan pays for 2 years of community college. And he asked if that was even necessary or important. Is college making people better? What? It absolutely makes people better. Now, I'm not saying everybody should go to college. Well, I am saying that. Everybody should go to college. Not everybody can go to college. Everybody wants to go to college. I get that. There are the ways to manifest the best of who you are. But listen, we're suffering right now in this country from what happens when too many people in certain parts of the country are thoroughly uneducated. If you look at what's going on with the increase of COVID and anti-vax sentiments and compare that with education levels, they completely correspond. There's a reason for that. People believe in magic and superstition and conspiracies and all kinds of craziness when they haven't had to sit down and read Toni Morrison. You follow what I'm saying? But let me get back to you. Here's my encouragement. There are far too many people in your family whose names you don't know, whose faces you could not recognize, whose blood you cannot sense, who paid a dear and high price for you to have the privilege to decide if you feel like going back. Do you know what 13 million slaves did upon the eve of their emancipation? Do you know what they did? You know, in the United States, we call the World War II the greatest generation. For black folks, they're not the greatest generation. The greatest generations are those of us who came up out of the darkness of slavery. And when we came up, you know what the first thing we did? 13 million people did one thing together. They sought to educate themselves. 13 million people went to school. They wanted to read and to write. They wanted to command ideas and words and have control over their intellect and their minds. That is what you are a legacy of. And I would invite you not to disrespect that legacy because you don't feel like it. I understand. I know what it is to need money when you're in school, when you got to do all. I understand all that. But some things are bigger than money. Some things are far more prevalent. You know what I'm saying? This is about understanding what it means to be who you are and to be a part of that family. I don't know where your family is with education, who's educated, who's not, college now, I don't know. But I do know 13 million people did one thing as soon as we got out of slavery. We went to school. Trust their wisdom. Trust that they knew what they were doing. Trust that though they didn't have a cell phone or a laptop or Instagram or Twitter, trust that they had some knowledge that we've lost. My dear brother, you don't go to school to get a job. You don't go to school to get a degree so that you can put your degree on a resume. That's not what education is for. Education is to cultivate your humanity. It is to cultivate who you are. It is so that you have the language, the intellect, and the capacity to control yourself in the presence of people who may have more or less. Education expands the dexterity of your mind. You can sit in the presence of kings, or you can sit in the presence of prostitutes and bus drivers and be at home in both settings because education has broadened you. The first struggle for every man is to be greater than the mud that produced him. Education is how you make yourself greater than the mud. Wisdom is how you transform the deeper parts of who you are. Is that enough encouragement for you? Let me do a quick one. Someone emailed me. My husband had a baby. Oh, my God. My husband had a baby with his mistress. The child is now 3 years old. It took some time for me to finally forgive him. He told me the relationship with the mother is over. He just wants to co-parent with his child. Yesterday, my husband asked me if he could invite his daughter and her mom to our home for Thanksgiving, and I lost it. Is it wrong of me not to want his mistress and his side baby in our home? Whoa. This is why I love this show right here. This is why I love this show, because of this right. Really? Really? Is it wrong? No, it's not wrong. First of all, you might need to put him out the house for asking the question. How is a man with any respect or integrity going to ask you to allow his other baby mama, you know what I'm saying, to come over for Thanksgiving with the baby? I understand wanting to have a relationship with a child. That's fine. The child didn't ask to be here. The child has done nothing wrong. Nobody should punish the kid. The kid should be seamless in his life. But he's asking you to let the woman be a part of this? And he expects it to be okay? Let me tell you, what in the world is going on in the world with people? You're not wrong for not wanting to let, no. If you let this happen, I'm going to lean into this. I'm going to lean into your television, your laptop, your phone, your tablet, and slap the water out of your body. No, No, you are not going to do this. No, 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 no. Disrespect me once and I don't know about it. Now you go disrespect me to my face over Thanksgiving? No, 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 ma'am. No, sir. You can't come over here. No, I'm not ready for that. I wouldn't be ready for that. So you're not wrong at all. Respect yourself and demand that he respect you. You know what I'm saying? And if he can't handle that, then he can go over there for Thanksgiving. How about that? How about that? You know, people will treat you the way you let them treat you, people. Huh? People will go as far as you let them go. People will do exactly what you let them do. At some point, you got to draw the line and say, no, 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 no. I put up with the baby. I'm not putting up with the mom at Thanksgiving. You have the right to draw that line. Draw that line. Respect yourself. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. It's so good to have you. What a great show. Season 3. Woo! Hey, y'all be good to each other, all right? And by all means, if you don't know nothing else, if you can't remember nothing else, remember this. I love you. How about that? Season 3.